Hey Ross,
Yes, sir.
how was your week? Wait, hold on. No one's watching. Why am I even trying?
You're
Hold
not
up.
live yet, dude.
I am
No, you
live.
are live. There you are.
Stupid idiot. I am live. Maybe I'll get Todd Combs to work this episode. Ugh. 3 viewers. 3. Still waiting. 2, 4 viewers. Oh, Tiffany Nicole's watching. Perfect. Brady Benner's watching. Cash. Oh, we got 6. You know what that means?
We're live.
It means I get to ask you about your weekend.
It was okay.
It was okay? Just okay, Ross?
It was alright, man.
Just alright?
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
That's all you need. As we take a look back at this past weekend in the Washington County Flag Football League. And boy, Ross, what a Saturday.
It was a Saturday.
First and foremost, it was cold. It was very, very, very cold.
It got warm for a little bit,
It
and
did.
then it got cold again.
It did.
Especially when I was taping that one game.
You were
Red
you were
Knights
filming
program.
Red Knight's program. You got to
Yeah.
shoot Andy Hoffman's final game.
I did.
How's that make you feel?
It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I even picked up a flag and handed it to him. He didn't say thank you, but I knew deep down he was saying thank you.
Hey, you know what? It's at heart. You know, it's felt. You know, I feel that. As we take a look back at the week that was, beginning with a 9 a.m. game. Yes, a 9 a.m. kickoff. Weird, right? Haven't had hardly any of those all year. Broadaxe over Ruckus, 14-6. This game, Ross, just wasn't.
It had a very 9 a.m., very cold kickoff feel to it.
Yeah, as in the offenses were cold as hell.
I wasn't there at the beginning, but I did make it towards the end of the game, and it even at the end of the game, it had just kind of that feel to it.
Let me tell you, it was a dreary, drag-along slugfest.
Yeah.
That's what it truly was at heart, with some real questionable ref ball. Not gonna lie, the whole penalty with Ruckus and
I
Broadaxe.
wasn't going to say anything. I didn't.
I get it. I try not to say anything either, but
I heard a lot about it.
that should have been 1st and 25. Because on that play, Big Mike's penalty is called after he's crossed the first down line. So he's got the first down. It's a matter of yards. So he keeps the first, but he should be 1st and 25. What happened was it was 1st and 5 instead, which Broadaxe easily got the first down. Yeah. Yeah, Ross. That went down. And it should not have happened. Absolutely should not have happened. Why is Golden State wearing yellow on the Lakers floor? That is going to throw me off hardcore. Holy crap, that's throwing me off.
That's why they're doing it. But get back to football.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just distracted by that.
But I do.
But no, that ref ball was something that I just.
Yeah, that's bad.
It killed the game completely.
It's supposed to be 1st and 25 and 1st and 5. That's bad.
Yeah. And. But. Strong emphasis. Even if that penalty is called correctly, Broadaxe still converted it in 4 plays. They got the first down anyways. They would have had the first down.
If it's if I honestly argue what you just said, in my opinion, if it doesn't happen on the very next play, that they can, if they don't make a 25-yard plus play, then you can't truly say they would have converted it. In my opinion,
I don't know.
that's how I look at it.
A lot of other things hurt Ruckus other than that penalty. Let's
But
put it
I
like
also,
that.
100%. I also always say you can't blame any game on one single play. You can't.
You absolutely cannot. I fully 100% agree. Football has way too many plays to blame it on just one.
Yep.
And you can't let it come down to one play either.
Right.
Isn't that's always been coached. It's always said. So Broad Axe beats Ruckus 14-6. Like I said, very sluggish game, and
Right.
I felt like the X Dogs looked sluggish too in their game against Broad Axe. The next game, 14-0 X Dogs over Broad Axe. Another low-scoring slugfest for the most part. Both teams' defenses shine, but both teams' offenses were just kind of stagnating. They were still feeling like they were getting out of bed. In the case of Broad Axe, seemed like Broad Axe was done altogether.
Yeah, they were definitely tired.
Oh, yeah. And it showed in that game as Broad Axe struggled to move the ball against the X-Dogs defense, who obviously the X-Dogs were in Broad Axe's head all game. That banner in the sideline between Chili and Noah goes to show it right there that that's how that game just went. It was all X-Dogs, all in their favor. They won the mental game, won the physical game.
Yeah.
They won the all-around game. Congratulations to X-Dogs for the victory over Broad Axe. They advanced to the championship game for 2010, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17. Seventh time in this decade they're going to the championship. What a run by the X-Dogs.
Force to be reckoned with.
Can they
I like it.
win it all, though? Who will they face? As we get to the third game of the day, ADR Warriors, ADR 20, Warriors 3. What a difference. What a difference from that first game. ADR just absolutely gave it to the Warriors. And the difference maker in the game? Chris Boone. Offensively, defensively. 2 interceptions he had on Alex Foster, which he allowed himself to score 3 touchdowns. The big difference maker in that game was Boone.
Yep.
Absolutely, positively, 100%. Chris Boone shined in that game. And we're going to have Chris Boone later tonight on the show. He's going to be talking with us. We're going to get his insight on the WCFFL playoffs and everything else, as well as his game with the X-Dogs coming up this Saturday. But let me tell you, 20-3 ADR Warriors. It may not show on the scoreboard. It may not be the usual ADR 35-0 blowout, but this game felt like it. The Warriors punched in the mouth. They couldn't move. They couldn't move the ball. Ironically enough, they did move it better than they did the first time against ADR. They had more yards this time around. So hey, that's a nice victory. You had more yards. That's something.
We really had. Dude, shout out to Kyle Marshall.
Shout out to Kyle Marshall.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Dude, there's a very strong case of him being MVP of the Warriors this season.
Yeah. Really? Kyle Marshall is your MVP?
It's close.
What about, maybe for the whole calendar year when you put it all together?
But this game specifically, shout out to Kyle Marshall.
Shout out to Kyle Marshall?
Shout out to
Okay.
us from
He did
Tuesday,
score your only points.
Whatever. And it was a damn good kick, too.
It was. But a bigger shout out to ADR and what they did. Boone, Mouse, Coley, that whole company, Cannon, they all just balled. From start to finish.
Good game.
Good game, indeed. 20-3 ADR scores the dub. They're heading back to the championship. Their 4th consecutive win in a row. What a run ADR has had. Woo! And they're not done yet. Because we're about to hit the game of the century. More of that later. More of that later. It's game of the century, Ross. Before that, we get to the B bracket. Starting out with the 1 o'clock game. Program 20, Red Knight 6. And this game, Ross, Andy Hoffman's final game first and foremost.
Yep.
Can we talk about this question? Let's raise this question real quick. Everyone in the comments, I'm going to ask you this. Is Andy Hoffman, the quarterback, a Hall of Famer? Ross, what do you think?
I believe so. I mean,
because I'm going to focus on Andy Hoffman for a second in the Red Knights, because this game is a moot point. They went out, they lost. The program did the same thing they did last week against them.
If you're talking overall picture
of his playing career, would you consider him a Hall of Famer?
I haven't been here in a long time, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I don't see why not.
No, I agree too. I think he is a Hall of Famer.
I don't really see how you could even argue against it. The more I think about it. How long has he been playing quarterback?
Quarterback? I think Andy's been a quarterback as far back as...
Long time.
Some early 2000s, I want to say. Mid 2000s. I had to ask him. I think he was with the Bengals at first, way back in the day.
Dang. I never knew there was a team in the Washington County Flag.
No, it was in Baltimore. He used to play in Baltimore.
That's right, yeah,
he was a Baltimore guy first.
Yeah, you talking that too?
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, see, yeah.
But this game is actually a pretty sad ending for the Red Knights.
It is.
They go out without a bang, with a whimper. I kind of felt like last fall should have been their final season. Because they beat Top Gun in that championship game. There was a really emotional scene on that field. I remember being there when Andy was hugging his family and his friends were hugging each other, and there was this big scene. Everybody thought that was it for the Knights. And in retrospect, it's a shame it wasn't, because I feel like the way they went out does not show what kind of franchise they were. It really doesn't. People, I saw a post earlier. I'm going to call this guy out. I'm going to call out Ron Savage by name. Ron Savage earlier talking against the Red Knights about how they suck. First and foremost, were the Knights a bad team this year in the Washington County Flag Football League this past season? Their record says, yeah, they were. But the record doesn't show the lack of numbers they had most weeks. Their record doesn't show how good the league has gotten over the years, where the Knights went from being one of the most dominant teams in this league to being the bottom of it. They were surpassed by every team who was below them. Ruckus surpassed them. The program surpassed them. The Warriors did. The Railroaders did. The Spartans did. They were surpassed by the time was over. This wasn't a case of a team who was so awful to the point where they qualify as one of the worst franchises ever. This was a team that just simply declined over time. They just declined. It happens. It comes of aging. People forget the Red Knights were a B bracket runner-up in 2017. People forget the Red Knights were the runner-up in this league. They almost beat Broad Axe in the fall of 2014, my first season. They were this close to beating Broad Axe for the championship. Back when Miller Lite was running the show.
Right.
That's how far back that goes. The Red Knights, when I first got up here, were one of the best teams in this league. And it is absolutely a shame to have watched them go out the way they did. But you cannot discount anything. And I mean, you cannot discount anything that Andy Hoffman did as an owner or a player, or that the Red Knights were as a team. Because they're going to finish this decade with the third most wins. They're just one behind the X-Dogs for second. The X-Dogs surpassed them this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
One of the X-Dogs' best years had to be the Knights' worst year.
That's wild.
The X-Dogs surpassed them for second most wins in this decade. In fact, the Knights had a winning record prior to this season. This season is actually the cause of them having a poor record in the decade. which is a shame because they deserve a lot better of an ending than what they had.
Well,
I'm going to miss the Red Knights. I really will. They gave me a chance to play for them back in Virginia Beach in 2015, and I appreciate that. I always will. All they got, all they need. Red Knights. Shout out to them. But to talk about the program in this game, let me tell you, Ross, speaking of former Red Knights, you know who's lighting up the scoreboard for the program right now? Ant Smith. Ant Smith.
Sometimes that quarterback change can be all you need, man.
We had talked about how all these years Ricky Miller was a quarterback to look out for, but
He still
he still is. But I tell you, Ant Smith has really lit up this program offense. He's got this team balling right now. Back-to-back wins over the Knights. You could say, yeah, it might be a team that's not that great, but at the same time, it's a case where Ant's coming out there. He's slinging the ball more freely. He's showing total recklessness, like on the field. He's just going out there and slinging it. He does not care.
There is a couple times where he does just throw it up.
He does, but you know what? It works.
When you just throw it up to Gary Little, even when he's like doubled or triple covered, he'll come down with the ball somehow.
And it's not even just Gary Little.
No, it's not.
He's getting David Maxwell out there again.
Yep.
Brendan Carasquillo's getting exposure again.
Yep.
He's got guys balling. Ant's got something going on here. This program team is looking like a championship caliber team here. The question is, however, who will they face? As we get to the final game of the day, Brunswick and the Spartans. A game where Brunswick jumped out to a 14-0 lead. And it looked like the Spartans were dead. Sparta had burned to the ground, so to speak.
You really did just kind of skip over the program.
Sparta had burned to the ground, so to speak. Brunswick had just thoroughly dominated them, and yet Tri-State rallied back.
Man,
What a game.
that was a good game.
What a finale to our
Brunswick
day.
Came out and looked like they were just going to run the game and it'd be over.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spartans stuck with it, stayed in it. Spartans played the game too?
Spartans played a hell of a game, dude. They rallied back from a 14-0 deficit. They scored 3 straight touchdowns in a row to make it 21-14.
Yeah.
But Ian Fisher never gave up. Rallied the Railroaders back on the final drive. Got them down the field and scored. Only to be sacked on the 2-point conversion.
Man, if you got a kicker, kick it.
They had a kicker, but they wanted to go for the win right there. They elected to go for the win. They could have kicked it with swagger.
I don't know whose call that was, but
I think that was Ian's call. Ian went for 2. He wanted to go for the win.
he got sacked.
He got sacked instead. You're right. And the worst part was, he got the ball, after the ball got out of his hand, Timmy Privet caught it in the end zone. If that's a second earlier,
I didn't notice that.
if it's a second earlier, that's the game when he touched 2-point conversion.
Kick it.
So you think
There
this
is
is
no second early on that, like,
so,
no time. No, you gotta kick it.
so you think this is more of a case of kick the damn ball? Team called by Swagger. He said they were all on board.
But I also said you can't blame any game on one single play. So Brunswick came out and literally, I really thought Brunswick was just going to run that game. I really did. Shout out to the Spurs for sticking with it.
No, I give them props for sticking with it. I really do. And you know what? only this guy had a shot to be there. Because there was somebody on the Spartans who I wanted to call in. He wasn't there last week.
Yo,
But Weezy, you told me earlier tonight that this win felt pretty bittersweet.
bro, I ain't even gonna lie, I wasn't there because I had to work, but I knew my guys were gonna get it done, and it does feel good because that's my old team,
Mm-hmm.
and we beat them twice in what was that, 3 weeks, four
Yeah,
weeks?
32-28, and then again you got him 22-21-20.
Facts. Yeah, so I was there for the first one. I was kind of upset Beachley wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure Beachley was there for the second one, and I wasn't. So
Right.
that's a downfall because I definitely wanted to play What's playing Brunswick without Beachley?
It ain't Brunswick without Beachley.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, man, felt pretty good. I'm happy. I know my guys are happy. We're ready. We're ready for this week.
You guys got a tougher matchup this week with the program, who seems like they have finally figured out the offense after all this time. Ant Smith is playing a hell of a ball game right now.
Hey, I
Have you
ain't.
seen much film on it yet?
I've watched some of it. You feel me? I haven't had a lot of free time lately, but yeah, I've watched a little bit. I mean, Ant's a baller, yo. Like Ant when he's focused and he's on his shit, he's a weapon, and he's definitely someone you got to plan for, cause he got a nice little arm, and he got the legs. So
For sure, for sure. He is quite the dual threat right now. Ant Smith, one of the more underrated quarterbacks out there in WCFFL. One that we hadn't had much talk about yet because of the fact that he hadn't really came out to play quarterback much. We saw him last year for the Assassins playing quarterback against Top Gun in a game that I just posted on YouTube, actually. Go check that out. Top Gun's
yep,
last win. And he wasn't that
he
impressive.
busted that 80-yard run.
Yeah.
And they called it back. Wasn't that game?
I think that might have been another game.
Well, when he played for Brunswick when I played for Brunswick, and he bust this long ass run at QB, but they called it back for a flag guard or hands to the face or some dumb shit. It was a horrible call as usual, but
You know what? Thinking about it a little more, Wheezy, I think you're right. Now that I think about it a little
yeah,
more, I think that is in that same game.
yep. Cause I remember that shit. Cause I was hype on the sideline, and then I saw the flag, and oh man,
That's
I was
always a
hurt.
killer, that flag guard penalty. Who threw it,
I
though?
was hurt.
Do you know who threw
Nah, fuck no, I don't remember. It's probably Don.
it?
Probably Don, bitch ass. It's like, nah, coach, I'm playing. It probably was you though.
So as a defensive player, how are you trying to guard Ant Smith going into this weekend's game?
Man, you just gotta watch him. Like, you just gotta watch where he's at. You can't just focus on him though. You gotta watch the whole offense, cause you just gotta see what they running, so we can figure out how to match up. But you can't. I still feel confident behind my statement that said we got the best secondary in the league. We just need our full secondary
Oh
and
boy.
just to gel. I still stand behind it. We have
Yeah.
improved it. I ain't gonna lie, we have improved it this season.
Will you prove it next season?
Facts.
Will you
We
prove it
gonna
on
prove.
Saturday against the program?
Gonna have to wait to find out. See who shows up.
Best secondary in the league. Can you make a T-shirt out of that, man? If you make a Spartans T-shirt, put one that says "Best Secondary in the League."
Oh, I got you.
I'd buy it.
No fly zone.
And then on the back of it could be like a little animated drawings of like him and the entire secondary. That's all you're gonna say.
Yep, like them old school Super Bowl shirts. with all the players on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Those retro shirts. That's what you got to go
Oh
for.
yeah, that shit would be hard.
Someone run that by Don, but like,
But I'm excited to play program, man, cause I missed that game this season too, cause I had pulled my hamstring against ADR,
yeah,
so I missed the program. I was there for it, but I didn't play. So definitely excited to play them.
going to be a much different game than the first time. Ricky Miller started that first game. That game also available on YouTube, by the way. It'll be Ant this time around. Any differences you've seen in the program's offense, having watched film so far?
Um, like I've seen, I haven't really watched too much film,
Okay.
but um, I mean, I know Ant like to take risks, and I know he gonna throw that bit. He gonna let that bitch fly a couple times.
He does. His deep ball is ridiculously
Yeah,
good.
and I'm waiting for it.
You going to be there for it?
I'm waiting for it.
No fly zone, right?
Someone gonna be there. If it ain't me, it's gonna be Sean. If it ain't Sean, it's gonna be Dylan. If it ain't Dylan, it's gonna be Powers. If it ain't Powers, it's gonna be Rome.
I
If it
like it.
ain't Rome, it's gonna be Claude. You feel me? Like,
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
come on, man.
So my question is, who you got winning the A?
Oh man, it's tough because it depends on who shows up. Like, are they? What time do they play?
Noon, high noon.
I thought you said they played before us.
No, you're thinking of the Killer Bees Gators game.
Oh no.
8:30 a.m. Shippensburg, PA. There's no live stream, so you got to be there.
Fuck that. Fuck 8:30. That means I would have to get up at like 5:30, 6.
It's a long ass drive too.
Fuck yeah. Nah, I think ADR gonna win, to be honest.
ADR.
If they show up full strength.
All right,
But I think it's gonna be a pretty close game though.
we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Joe,
It's
for
gonna
joining us.
got you.
Best of luck on Saturday, bro.
Yes sir, yes sir. I'm excited, man.
We
Good
will
luck
see.
to good
We will.
luck to everybody. You mean everybody have a injury free weekend and let's have fun.
And we will see how the best secondary in the league fares, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm
Yep.
ready.
Ready.
Fuck your team.
Secondary in the league, Ross. I what? I don't think I have. Do I have the stats on me still? Hold on.
That's a real head scratcher. I'm surprised you don't have them just at the top of your head.
Scoring defense, the Spartans surrendered 18 points per game this year. And what do you think of the best secondary in the league, the Tri-State Spartans?
Well, I haven't been there due to legal issues, so
Right.
honestly, I couldn't really give you that answer. Honestly, I mean, as far as
Did you get a chance
from
to
what
watch
I've
the
seen,
Railroaders game?
yeah, I actually did. That was actually a good game. I watched it all the way up until the first half. Um, it was a good game. It was a hard fought game. The rest of it, I had watched it. With during the live stream, and they played their asses off. I can definitely say that they definitely played their asses off. And Ian Fisher, shout out to Ian Fisher. I mean, he definitely made a very good call as a field general to say, you know what, well, it's either win or go home, and I need this win. You know what I mean? For him to advance to the B bracket championship, for him to make that gutsy call, you know, That's something that I would have done too. You know, not too many people would make a call like that. You know, so you know, shout out to Ian Fisher and the Railroaders for doing their thing out there against the Spartans, and you know, trying to uphold, you know, their defense from, you know, preventing the Spartans' offense from scoring. One thing I can say about the Railroaders, they have been good overcoming the years, you know, ever since I played with them and with the Brunswick Assassins, you know, when they were the Assassins. So, you know, they've been coming up, you know. They're a sleeper, you know, they're a sleeper team. A lot of people sleep on them, you know. But those guys over there, man, they're dedicated though, you know what I mean? They're dedicated. So I look forward to seeing them hopefully in the spring, you know, winning the Bree Bracket championship. I honestly do.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I could
Yeah,
totally see it. They
I
were
honestly do.
when you take a look at their record, they were so close to being an A bracket team. They had like 4 losses by less than a touchdown.
Facts. Facts.
Big, big improvements over where they were a year ago for certain. And they were my pick to actually go out and win the B bracket, to be honest.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, they were. Yes. As far as best secondary, I would have to, from what I've seen so far, I'm going to have to go with the Warriors as far as one of the best secondaries besides ADR. ADR, of course, we all know, you know, they play man across the board. They send four at you. So, you know, if you don't have the DBs and, you know, those inside slot guys, you know, to play man across the board, then you honestly can't play man, you know. There's no such thing as playing man without those guys, you know, those Coley, Ant, Cato. Sometimes they might have another slot guy. Even Boone does one hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Spying and then dropping back at times and picking up that middle crossing route. You know, and for him to get 2 picks against the Warriors against Foster, I was astonished. I was like, damn. I mean, like what the hell is going on? I mean, shit, Chris Boone is just snagging him out the air like it's nothing, you know what I mean? Taking it back for a few yards, doing what he can do with the ball, you know, on the defensive side. And that's very different for me seeing that, you know. I'm not used to seeing Boone playing, you know, in a man coverage at all, you know what I'm saying? Unless we're playing like 8-man or something like that down in Winchester. But other than that, I mean, defensively wise, he's very improved.
What are your impressions of Boone's opponent this weekend in the form of the X Dogs, his championship matchup going into it, Ant?
Honestly, Boone is gonna do his thing. That Boone is like a Tom Brady in the Washington County League. You know what I mean? He's like a Tom Brady. He knows his reads, he knows his routes, he knows when to get out of there, and he knows when to go ahead and take whatever the defense is giving him. You know, that's one of the quarterbacks that I actually watch film on when I'm even on break at work. You know, between him and Brown Alfieri, like those two guys, I look at and I'm like, damn, you know, I want my game to evolve to be like theirs. You know what I mean? Because they make the perfect reads and they make the right calls. You know, so with that being said, honestly, I think it's going to be, and no disrespect, because I love Dame to death. You know what I mean? There's times where I go to his house and we've chilled. You know, we've done our thing. You know, and if Dame doesn't get the right, correct call on the defensive side, whether it could be defensive holding or defensive pass interference, it could be a long day for ADR, honestly, because as we all know, Matty Ice, I mean, he's pulled some strings in too. He's one of the great quarterbacks too, you know, and he's honestly really not a quarterback. I mean, when I first met Matt, he told me he was a receiver that went to go play quarterback. So I mean, he's an athlete that can get the job done. You know what I mean? And with the chemistry that he's had with those guys that he's been playing with for years, I mean, that's big. That's definitely big. I mean, and Boone has played with those guys down in Winchester in the 8-man league for years before they came up when they were TMT, you know, wearing gray jerseys with red letters, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I mean, I honestly I honestly think it's going to come down to Dame keeping his composure. If Dame can keep his composure when they're making a bad defensive call, I believe ADR will win it. But if Dame loses his head, Matty Ice is going to use that fuel and he's going to put that fire straight out. Like it's definitely going to be a game. I'm actually taking X Dogs by a field goal or a last minute touchdown. If
Okay.
Dame if Dame can keep his head, ADR will win the game. But if Dame loses his head, I got X Dogs winning it by a field goal. Chile's definitely going to be, a reckon with. I mean, you got to have one of your top offensive line guys on Chile. I mean, one of the best defensive ends in the league, period. I don't care, D tackle, defensive end, he's definitely going to get back there. So that's somebody that you have to, be prepared for because he's an animal. He's definitely an animal out there.
Big facts, big facts. And that's something we mentioned to look forward to. And Ant, we look forward to your game as well. Program Spartans, 10:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Going to be interesting to see how you fare against the quote-unquote best secondary in the league. I feel like this past season, and not even the past season, this past two games, you've given a resurgence to this program offense that has not seen in a long time. The offense is finally clicking on a level that it has not been since Adam Lock's first season starting.
Hmm.
I feel like that's going to be very key in this game coming up against the Spartans.
Well, Joseph, aka Wheezy, one of the greatest safeties that I've ever played against, and played with. The boy's a ball hawk. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, with my skills as me doing my job as a quarterback for the program and any other team, looking him off one way and going back the opposite side is what my key is going to be doing. I could care less about the outside corners. I could care less about the slots. I could care less about the D line. D line sends pressure. I'm going through the pocket. I'm getting out of there. I'm escaping. I'm gonna give my team exactly what we need. You know what I mean, to overcome anything. So, and my biggest thing is tiring out that D line. Once I tire out that D line, I'm gonna make every DB out there pay for everything that the defensive line can't do, and that's putting pressure on me. I don't care whether you're sending three. I don't care whether you're sending four. I mean, I'm gonna tire you out. So there's gonna be a lot of calls that you haven't seen the first two games against the Knights. So, things that basically I did in the Summer Sizzler and Shippensburg, those are going to be some of the gutsy calls that you'll see. You'll be like, oh wow, and he's just, he's gunning for it. And the deep ball accuracy, I love throwing the deep ball, but that's not something that I like doing. That's honestly not something that I like doing. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to simplify the game as itself. I'm going to make the game easier for myself. And I'm just going to tie that D line out. So the best way, and I have the biggest game plan. I have about 4 or 5 game plans in my head, and I'm actually trying to, come up with it, with the owners of the team, Swole and Lie. I'm trying to come up with the guys and trying to figure out what's the best game plan. Because see the game plan that I had for the Red Knights, that was to me. I just felt like that was just a walk in the park, honestly. And granted, it's the Red Knights, but you still have to come out there and you still have to perform. You can't just you can't just say, oh well, we're just playing the Red Knights or we're just playing the Spartans. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference who you playing. They're putting their best 9 guys on the field, come playoffs, come championship. So you got to be prepared for all that. Um, my biggest thing is getting the ball out quick. So getting the ball out of my hands quick, tiring out that defensive line, running the ball. Um, it's definitely going to be a game. You know what I mean? I just hope that you know Wheezy does what he does out there, and that's as far as he's a good flag puller. There's times where he does miss flags. There's times where he can make a actual good play on the ball. He can read. He can read. So with that being said, I'm just that he's my biggest worry. Everybody else, the other 8, I could care less about. You know, Wheezy is my biggest worry. He's definitely a ball hawk, and he'll go get it. Like he's not lying. He'll go get it. I've seen him do it in practice. I've seen him do it in games. He can go get the ball, but is he a matchup for my eye coordination and my IQ as a quarterback? That's the biggest thing right there. That's the question right there. Can Wheezy read me and think that he can pick me off? I haven't thrown an interception yet in a Red Knights game. It hasn't even looked like I've thrown an interception, in a Red Knights game. So with that being said, I mean, Wheezy gonna have to come out and come play, and he's gonna have to pick his defense up. That's all I can say, honestly.
Yeah. And I feel like that's going to be the biggest matchup to see is you versus that Spartans secondary. And we look forward to it Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Program in
Yeah.
Spartans. Ant, thank you for joining us. We wish you the best
I'm
of
going to
luck,
sleep.
sir.
Yeah, I got work in the morning, so I'm going to sleep. Last day at work, so I'll be definitely getting some rest. I appreciate you for having me, Joey.
I appreciate you for being on.
See you, Ross.
Sweet.
See you, Ant.
All right.
Ant Smith joining us. And I'll tell you, Ross, Ant's got it going on right now. He's got some momentum right now. Real good shot at winning this B bracket championship, but he's going to have it tough against the best secondary in this league. I don't know.
Self-proclaimed, man.
They got. What if they trademark it? Like if they trademark it, that would be their nickname, the best secondary in the league.
They should trademark. Hey, it's Tom Brown from the Spartans. Before they trademark best secondary in the league.
Don should trademark that and let the Spartans just trademark best secondary in the league.
So, what do you think? The best secondary in the league? Oh, no, it's quiet on Boone's end. Oh, I hear a voice. No, I don't. Now my phone's vibrating because everyone's texting me at once. This is why we do test calls, Boone. Oh, I hear audio and then it cuts out. Very faintly, I hear your voice. How about now?
Alright. Well, I don't have no headphones on right now.
That works. That works.
Can you hear me without the headphones?
Yeah, we'll run with it.
Alright. So the man said best secondary in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. What's he tripping on? Damn, my phone's fucked up. This shit's fucked up. I ain't got no sir. Hey, call me right back.
Okay. Right
All right.
here. And
Some technical problems. This is why we do test calls. You have headphones?
I feel like looking for.
But anyways, we're gonna call Boone back in a second. Spartans best secondary in the league. Ugh.
Stop saying that, man.
I don't know, man. It's just stuck in my head. It really doesn't, man. I'm just trying to fathom it. Let's take a brief look at these two matchups, though. Starting out with that 10:30 game between the Spartans and Program. This is the second time they've met in the postseason. The first time was back in the fall of 17 when the Spartans beat the Program 25-22 in the B bracket semifinals. That was actually the Spartans' last win until this year, Ross. Spartan and the Program, to be honest, they couldn't even win a playoff game until last week. Last week was the Program's first playoff win since the spring of 2016, Ross.
Right.
That was nearly 4 years gone by. That is... And so here we are now. They're back in the hunt. They have a shot for the championship. It's a question of, can they do it? Do you think they can do it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Only time will tell. What do you think? What do you think, Blake?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I want to say that this is going to be one of those games where it really does boil down to the program's offense versus Spartans defense. That's the match to look forward to. If the Spartans can get stops on Ant Smith, it could be an interesting game.
Right.
Same thing for Program. Let me tell you, this could be a shootout. Right, Dylan?
What's up, buddy? Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, we got you now, buddy.
All right, good deal.
Program and Spartans, the best secondary in the league versus Ant Smith. The question is, who you got?
Oh my goodness. Damn, my shit's on a delay. Sucks being up here in the woods.
It's all good. Just hold the phone where it is, man. We can just talk like this.
Is it? Are we live? Am I good?
Yeah, we're live. We're good, bro.
All right, man. I think the program should win. I think I don't know if the Spartans are going to be able to score, man. I don't know if they're going to be able to score. If he comes out and if Keenan comes out and can't run fully, I think the program will win by at least 10.
10?
Yeah, I would say 10.
10, yeah. I can see that because the program's pass rush death row. I feel like if they could just get to Pooler and get through that offensive line, they'll be fine. In that first game, they had no problem in the first half. It was the second half, however, where Pooler exploited them in the secondary.
Yeah, I actually left because they wasn't moving the ball.
It was one-sided.
I mean, they wasn't doing anything. So, like I talked to you, I told everybody, I said, man, I'm leaving. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do anything. But Keenan proved me wrong. He came back, and I watched it on the live. It was a hell of a comeback. So, but I think, man, I'm trying to think, man. I think it'll be at least 24-14 program.
24-14?
Yeah.
Truth be told, Boone, I could see this being a shootout.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like the Spartans offense is going to come ready to play. And I feel like at the same time, Ant Smith's going to play the game of his life. I have seen Ant in these kind of games. He will play his heart out. You heard him on the interview a few minutes ago. He's ready. He is fired up.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude's watching film. He's doing his game plan. I mean, that's all you can ask out of your quarterback is that he's ready to play. He knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So Man, if Keenan's healthy, it could be a different game. But if he can't run like he did last week, I think program's gonna win.
I think in the end of the day, I think the program wins anyways. I think a large part of that is because of the fact that I feel like the program is playing on a level right now where they are far and away the best B team. They're solid
Yeah.
on they're solid on offense finally.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're better than the rest of the teams they faced on the B side.
I agree.
And when you take a look at this matchup against the Spartans, the one thing they have is they can at least get some kind of pass rush on the Spartans. I don't think the Spartans can get a pass rush on the program the same kind of way.
I agree with that. That's why I said I don't think they can. I don't think they can stop the program that many times. I mean, if Ant Smith's taking sacks and scrambling around, then maybe. But I agree with you. I don't think they got a pass rush that they're going to be able to get to him. Spartans might have the best secondary, but if your front four can't do anything, I don't see them doing much.
To be honest, I don't either. I'm going to go program. I think we both got program in that one. My question is, Boone, last week, you sure made your presence felt.
Yeah, man, it was good to be back in a meaningful game again. I missed a bunch of games during the regular season and shit, so we knew what was going to happen come playoff time. I mean, 80 yards a team, we had a game plan. We just wanted to get everybody eligible, make sure everybody's there throughout the season, a couple games. So that way when last weekend hit, we knew we was going to be ready, and we knew the outcome of that game before that game started. Just by us knowing what guys we was going to have there, and stuff like that. So I already knew the outcome of that game. I mean, and the Warriors improved. I mean, they've improved throughout the season. They played well. But I think me and the rest of the team, we knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, and I felt that coming about last week at the end of the Broadax game. I had a sense of ADR had momentum, whereas the Warriors did not going into that matchup. ADR had more to prove going in. ADR was going to bring the numbers. The Warriors were starting to lack in numbers because they didn't have all the guys they had from that September month.
Right.
People forget a lot of guys the Warriors did have dropped off right after that first month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while their core maintained the front the rest of the season, the lack of depth came back to haunt them come postseason.
Yeah, they was missing a DB or two here or there, and but I mean the key was up front. We had our center come back. Beard came back. He had only played one game throughout the regular season, so we knew once we got him, Alex showed up for the Broadax game and playoffs. So, and of course, all our receivers showed up 1 or 2 games throughout the season. So, like I said, we knew the outcome of that game before that game started. They was going to try to do the same thing that they did to Brandon Howler week 1, and that was send 4. And that we already knew what to expect, so I already knew what plays to call. They showed their hand week 1, and then all we did was wait for last week.
And it was a perfect spot for you guys to be in, especially coming off of that loss. The Warriors just couldn't adjust. They made no game plan adjustments from the first game, and it showed.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't prepare for Brandon Hyler the same way you prepare for Chris Boone.
Right. Yeah. And I can make people miss in the pocket to where Brandon's just, he's just a standstill guy. So, it changes everything. But I was surprised that they didn't get Zeke the ball a little bit more.
Trust me, that's been something I've been questioning about this Warrior offense the last couple of weeks is the lack of Isaiah Keys getting the ball. That's something that's
Yeah.
been. Yeah, you came out just in time, Rosser.
So really, what I tried to do as soon as I seen Zeke playing defense, whoever he was guarding, I was just sending him on flies. I was like, all right, do a fly, do a fly, do a fly. I was just wearing him down, so hopefully he wouldn't be able to play that many snaps on offense.
Smart strategy. I like it.
So, so that was my game plan once I seen him out there.
What is your game plan for this weekend, however, going against a familiar opponent, a team that's given you a lot of problems the last two fall postseasons?
Yeah.
That is the X-Dogs. A team that, Boone, has 3 of your starting linemen from last spring.
Yeah, they got 3 monsters out there.
They have 3 in the form of Brady, Kinsler, and Chili. The question is, Boone, what do you take away from your time playing with them to use against them going into this matchup?
They don't. Those guys don't have many flaws, really. I mean, they're so good at keeping their gaps and their lanes. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make them chase me. If they're going to get to me, they're going to have to chase me. I'm going to try to run them down, run side to side, make them flow with me. Hopefully, wear them out. And I'm going downfield. I'm going downfield because their secondary, they play the flats and they play everything short really good and they pull flags. So I'm gonna use my guy's speed and we're going downfield.
I like it, and I think that's the one advantage you guys have going in here is a speed advantage over the X-Dogs, especially when it comes to your receivers against their secondary.
Yeah, definitely. That's like I said. That's where you've seen it when we were Blunt Talk.
Mm-hmm.
That they might sack me a couple times here or there, but they're gonna have to chase me down, and eventually, those guys had to sub out a lot in the third and fourth quarter when we was playing on Blunt Talk. Those guys are gonna be playing both ways. I'm gonna make them chase me, and I'm letting that bitch fly. We're going downfield and see if their guys can keep up with my guys.
And that's going to be the question Saturday. Can the X-Dogs keep up with ADR?
Yeah.
We shall see. Chris Boone, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Always good. What's up, Ross?
He's outside having a cigarette.
Oh, all right. He ain't want to hear us talking shit, huh? On his
He walked
squad.
in on the Warrior Talk, and he was right back out the
You
door.
walk right back out. There you go. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.
All right,
Peace.
I'll talk to you. Peace out, Boone.
And I'll tell you guys, there's nobody else here but me right now, so we're just going to talk about it straight up. Without a doubt, game of the century material. You are talking about 2 teams who, in my research I've done in the last couple of months, I've been trying to compile the ultimate power rankings. And what that looks like is ranking every team who's ever played in this league based on what they've achieved as a franchise. Right now, there is a battle for positioning that this game will determine, to me, who gets that position between the X-Dogs and ADR. They're tied for a certain position. I won't say which, but the winner of that game will win that spot to me. Why is that? Because it'll be the 3rd championship for the winner in this decade, which would be enough for me to give leverage over the other one. When you take a look at this overall, The X Dogs and ADR, how they match up. The X Dogs are the old guard, so to speak. They were here 10 years ago and won the Washington County Flag Football League. 10 years ago, they won the WCFFL. They've been in this league since 2008. They've been around the block for a while. They were founded in 2002. ADR, way more recent, founded 2017. They played A bracket. They've beat the likes of Strong Island Bulldogs. New age flag football in the form of the 8-man style versus the old 9-man style of multiple tight ends and using your backs. Two very different teams, two very different philosophies. One matchup that, to me, is worth game of the century hype. Let's be real here. If you take a look at this year, the two best teams in this area, I'm talking this I-81 corridor from Shippensburg to Winchester. You can even argue go a little bit further up to Newville, where this league stretches all the way from Newville to Winchester. The two best teams are ADR and the X Dogs. Let's go back to the spring. Who won Keystone? The X Dogs. They dominated. They lost one game to the Immortals, who most of their core is playing as the Misfits right now in Keystone. But they beat him in the championship. What did ADR do? ADR went and had perhaps the best run of any team in Washington County's history. They dominated in the spring. They won it all. Using 3 current X-Dogs players. Ross,
What?
how much do you think Chili, Kinsler, and Brady playing on ADR back in the spring comes back to haunt ADR this week? What did Chili, Kinsler, and Brady learn playing with ADR that they could capitalize on? That is something that I'm really, really thinking about.
I don't know, man.
This game,
It's an interesting question.
yeah, that's one of the big storylines of this game is that matchup. Another big storyline, Matt Eisenberg versus Chris Boone. Two quarterbacks created their game. Two very different quarterbacks. Going to square off once again for the third straight fall for another classic. You look back at the 2017 game when the X-Dogs surprised them. When they surprised TMT and beat them 14-13. Look back to last year where the X-Dogs almost came back and won the game against ADR in the final 2 minutes. How in 3 plays it went from a 2-score blowout to a X-Dogs almost just won the game. This Saturday is going to be a clash of titans. This Saturday is going to be a battle between two of the best teams in this area by far. I asked at the end of spring who was the best team. Was it the X-Dogs or was it ADR? We're about to find out. Who is the best team? Ross, who do you think it is? Is it the X-Dogs or is it ADR?
What exactly are you asking me right now?
What's the best team? Is it X-Dogs or ADR? Come on.
As far as what? As far as Saturday?
Who wins this game Saturday?
I think X-Dogs gonna win.
You pick the X-Dogs. Why?
Because the X-Dogs are the number 1 team in the league for a reason. Boone is the X factor, though.
Boone is the X factor. That is a big fact. You cannot discount Chris Boone, but you can't discount Matt Eisenberg. Matt Eisenberg can move around and play defense too.
X-Dogs having
He's played receiver. He plays D end. He can play quarterback. Boo can do the same thing.
I'm going X-Dogs in this one.
Going X-Dogs?
We on prediction segment.
Okay.
Going X-Dogs.
He's got X-Dogs. This is hard.
X-Dogs in this one. Program, no.
X-Dogs and program. I'm going to tell you. While I feel like the Dogs have the trench battle, I think Chris Boone will neutralize it again. All he has to do is get Mouse out in the flats, or just get it, or to sit back there 10, 15 yards away from the play and just throw the ball. Take advantage of the speed advantage that ADR has over the Dogs, which will be another key to winning this game. For that reason, I'm going ADR. I think ADR takes it by a touchdown. But we shall see this Saturday, Championship Saturday, high noon, ADR, X-Dogs. We will be live. For Ross Collins, I'm Joey Blaze. You have a wonderful night. We'll see you Saturday.